Hello guys, coming back at y'all with another Commander Tips video. If you feel at all interested in voting on the topic for these videos, the link will be in the description below to my Patreon. Feel free to check it out. I appreciate any and all support. The one we're going to be doing for this video is Sedris the Traitor King. He is 6 mana Grixis colors for a 5/5 legendary zombie warrior. Each creature card in your graveyard has Unearth. You return it to play and it gains haste. You remove it from the game at the end of the turn, or if it would leave play, you unearth only as a sorcery. This is very tricky, but we're going to explain it along the way. There are things that kind of get around this, but that's about it. That's all he does. He's pretty good if you want to make a zombie tribal commander, even better if you want to fool around with ETBs and combos, because there are definitely ways that we can abuse our graveyard, get combo pieces in there, bring them back, and then just go off. Now this is a card I'm going to talk about here that is really underplayed, and that is Sundial of the Infinite. You pay 1 mana and you tap it to end the turn. Yes, you can only do it on your turn. It's not that busted, but it does kind of get around what Sedris is going to do. You exile all spells and abilities on the stack, and pretty much your turn is done. So it's a cool way to get around it. If we're looking for another way, we have Deadeye Navigator, or just anything that can exile, because technically it doesn't consider exiling to be the same as leaving. Since it's already exiling it, it's not going to exile it again. So you could Deadeye Navigator whatever creature you bring back with Unearth, so that you don't have to permanently exile it. And this is honestly why he's perfect for combos, because a lot of these creatures that you would think would be useless after you bring them back, once they die, once they leave at all, they just exile. Not the case with the good old Deadeye Navigator. Another really good card if you want to go for the Unearth theme specifically is Flayer of the Hatebound. This is one of my favorite red creatures. Really cool guy. Whenever he or another creature enters the battlefield from your graveyard, those creatures are going to deal damage equal to their power to a creature or player. So while I don't think there are too many combos around this, it is definitely powerful if you want to go with more of a fair deck as opposed to a combo heavy deck, because you can deal a surprising amount of damage to people just leaving a lot of stuff in your graveyard and then bringing it all back once you have Flayer out there. Really sweet. And then since this is a deck that is focusing on ETBs, bringing creatures back, that's probably the most powerful thing you can play around with. Panharmonicon is, in my opinion, a staple in this deck, especially if we're going to be considering the previous cards I just mentioned staples. This one definitely sitting on the field, getting extra triggers for artifacts and creatures, primarily creatures. Very useful in this type of deck. And if you do want to go with the combo route, there is a 2-card combo in Kiki-Jiki Mirror Breaker and Zealous Conscripts. These two pretty much end the game. What ends up happening is that you get infinite copies of Zealous Conscripts, which will then keep untapping your Kiki-Jiki, because that's what happens when you gain control of a permanent. You have to untap it and then you get to retap her, so you get more copies of Zealous Conscripts and win the game. And you could obviously go with the Deadeye Navigator Palinchron combo for infinite mana. Once you have infinite mana, all it really takes is any way to get creatures in your graveyard, and then you can just unearth all of them. Really powerful if you get to that point. And if we're going to be going back to ways of getting around the end of turn, Teferi's Veil is another decent way of doing that. Since your unearthed creatures gain haste, they can attack immediately. So that's just another cool little trick there. But that's pretty much it though. The rest is just good value ETBs, or just really good creatures with graveyard synergies that are going to help this deck by enabling its strategy. Good creatures like Sheoldred, Razaketh the Foul-Blooded, or even just a Thraxamundar, things that aren't necessarily ETB oriented but are definitely worth putting in this deck. Those are a few creatures that I would consider exceptions. But anyway, you guys let me know what you think about Sedris the Traitor King. I think this guy is pretty sweet. Definitely one of the more underplayed commanders in the format. He isn't too complicated, so that might be why. But anyway, I like him. But you guys have a wonderful day. Void here signing off. See you all next video.